Hello again YouTube, and in one of my last videos I converted this string of lights into LED. Well, I didn't actually get around to putting a heat shrink around this power supply because I wanted to show you something. So what I've done here, I've got two bits of heat shrink of smaller size that will fit over the power supply, and one larger piece of heat shrink which again is larger diameter to fit over the whole lot. And I've got two knots. I've got knots in the incoming supply and in the outgoing supply, and again I've heat shrink these and put a heat shrink here as well to hold the wires together. And the idea is, as I heat shrink it, to put some hot glue in the middle to glue it all together. Put hot glue between these two layers, hot glue in between here, and also hot glue at the ends, so that when it shrinks around them knots you can't pull the wires out, because of course this is mains. What you don't want to happen is to pull the wires out in a dangerous state. So if you were to force these wires out, these would be live, and then you could get a shock. Pulling these wires out wouldn't be so bad because these live connectors would be internal into the heat shrink. It's these ones that we want to be careful of. This is where they've got two knots each, and they're going to go up here and have the heat shrink and the hot glue. So that's the plan anyway. So I want to slide the heat shrink over, and once it's over, insert. Oh my word, I'm completely forgot how to do this. Right. Oh, it's slide the heat shrink over and insert some hot glue into the heat shrink part. Obviously I'll cut a bit off, stuff it in there, apply heat, and repeat. So I have a little slug of hot glue that I shall poke up in here, put it around the power supply, and then I shall heat it up. So under the heat shrink it will look like this, and of course as it melts it will fill up all the voids and go around the entire thing. And I've put a bit more up that end to put where the two wires go in, and a bit more up that end where the two wires come out. And using your wife's hair dryer that I've just borrowed, and I'm sure she won't mind me using if she knew about it, I'm going to use that to heat up the heat shrink and melt it all, and then melt all the hot glue. So that's one layer of heat shrink, and you can see down here all the glue's gone off or melted, so it's formed a plug at the end, so you can't put your fingers down there and touch anything. And the same with this end. So all we've got to do now is put another layer of heat shrink on, same thing. So that's with this second layer on. So what I've got to do now is add on the third layer, which is a thicker, longer diameter, bigger layer, and then put the glue in the middle and then heat that down. And there you go, 3 layers on, all glued up, glue down there, glue down there, so then wires shouldn't pull out. And that's it. That should hopefully be fairly safe-ish. Right, see you later.